Hey guys, today I have my gorgeous friend Jess Hunt here. She is the woman of, I was going to say the minute, but the century.
Wow, that is a big
She
intro.
is the woman of the moment. She is the founder, obviously, of REFY, everyone knows. And she's also just the most gorgeous human inside and out. And I'm so glad you're here today because we have these like the most kind of candid, open, free chats on our walkies, Saturday
that.
walkies. And I'm so excited for everyone to hear your journey because I think, well, actually, this is your intro, so I'm just kind of going into it. But thank you so much for coming on, firstly. And I want to go all the way back because I think with you, your Instagram is so polished and so perfect that I think people forget that you have not been an overnight success and your story is wild. So let's go all the way back.
All the way back?
Yes.
Okay, yes, that's definitely the case. I actually was looking for something on my Instagram yesterday and I came across like my old stories, and weirdly the other day my business partner Jenna, who co-owns REFY with me, was looking for something for a launch that we're doing, and she typed in my name on her phone and it came up with my Instagram from 2017, and the rebrand is wild. Like, it is insane.
You need to post that.
Oh my God, I actually do. But yeah, it's crazy. So my journey kind of started, I think even before 2017. I must have been, oh my God, I don't even know how old I would have been, but definitely a teenager, like young 20s. And I just started posting on social media because that was like my thing at the time. I really enjoyed just styling looks, sharing my content. It wasn't so much about, well, social in general, and especially Instagram, wasn't so much about being a brand at this point. It was more just a platform to have fun and post what you want to post. And that's kind of where I started. And as I said, I've always loved fashion, and that's what I wanted to, enjoyed posting about. And then I also believe this was at a time where it was much easier to grow on Instagram, and kind of things happened really organically. My following started growing over the time, and it was almost that situation of the more you post, kind of the more you grow. So I kind of had this rule with myself that I'd post at least once a day, and that went up sometimes to around 3 times a day. So it was a lot of content that I was shooting. But anyway, as my following started to grow, I was reached out to by various brands that were also starting on Instagram at that time. And for me at that young age, it was so insane to be contacted by these brands and for them to be like, do you want some free clothes in exchange for some content? And I just thought, wow, like, I cannot believe this is a thing. Young me was like, yes.
How old were you at the time when you first had people reaching out to you?
I must have been around 20 years old.
Okay.
So my thing was like going out with my friends at the weekend. So when people were sending me dresses to wear, I was like, yes, absolutely. It was so good. And I should probably say at this time, I did have a full-time job. I was also working in the NHS as a personal assistant. And I worked with commissioners for mental health, children's. And yeah, it was a really interesting time and something that I did really enjoy. And then obviously I was doing my Instagram on the side, but this was before it was a business, as I said. And then I think as my following started to grow and brands were reaching out to me, I can't remember which brand it was, but someone had said to me, we can send you some looks, and how much do you charge for like a post? So I was like, I don't know, like £20. And obviously, honestly, and obviously it grew massively from there. So it was just
imagine that brand receiving that message.
I know, £20. They were like, yeah, of course, no problem.
We'll do a year-long campaign.
They literally said that. They were like, we'll book in 8. And I was like, this is amazing. It's crazy. So yeah, my Instagram continued to grow. I was able to work with really incredible brands, and obviously my Instagram started to flourish into a little bit of a business, which was incredible. And then I was reached out to by some brands here in the UK to start doing some e-com and modelling jobs for them. So I did that for a little while, which was a lot of fun.
Had you ever done modelling or anything like that before?
Never.
Okay.
Never. So literally had no idea how this worked. I remember them being like, what's your day rate? And I was just like, what's your budget? Because I just had no idea. And a lot of people
So you don't have that confidence at 20. You're not like sure of yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's a new industry. So
Definitely. And it's like, I think it's really great now. There's obviously options to have managers or agents, but at that time that wasn't also really a thing. So I guess a modelling agency maybe, but I was still doing it on my own and kind of always done it on my own, even to this day. So obviously you learn as you go, and I wish I could tell my younger self so many things, but that's hindsight. Anyway, so started working with various brands for social content and modelling, and then through that I actually met my what now business partner Jenna, and
I love this story.
She is amazing, like the most incredible person. So we were actually together on a shoot one day, and one thing I was always quite well known for was having quite big bushy eyebrows. I feel like they've calmed down a lot since my younger days. And the way I used to do my brows was I used around 2 gels, about 3 brushes, just to set them in place and make them stay all day long. And then I'd obviously
no one was really doing the big brow thing then.
This was before lamination. Yeah, this
Didn't
was
you?
Yeah, I don't
Just
know.
claim it, take it.
I mean, okay. Do you know what though? It was always such a talking point. I remember people would literally comment like, your brows look ridiculous, they look awful, they look this, they look that. And even my friend's dad was like, I think you need to talk to my friend, you need to talk to Jess about her brows, they're geting quite big.
Oh my god, imagine him now with
know,
everything you built based on that
this
moment.
is it. So thank
Crazy.
God we had the big brows.
Yes.
So yeah, that's where I started. I was doing my brows on this shoot one day, and I was with Jenna, and she was watching me do my brows, and she was just like fascinated by what I was doing and wanted to understand why I was using all these products to create this look. So I explained kind of what each product was for, and the reason why was because I wanted that brushed up look to last all day. Anyway, cut a long story short, we were having lunch that day, and she just sort of said, I love this concept of this like brushed up brow look, but I feel the same, like my brows never stay, and Jenna's got quite sparse brows. So everyone obviously has different brow hair types, so it was really hard to find something that worked for almost everybody. And then we kind of drew literally just on like Snapchat or WhatsApp with that little horrible pen what this amazing product would look like and how the 2 brushes would come together in this component.
God.
I know. And Jenna, sorry, I should have said Jenna has had a separate business to REFY called Shrine, which was such an incredible brand.
Amazing.
That did the gorgeous like face jewels and the glitter boobs and glitter bums. Like it was a real big moment, so iconic. And we'd worked together on that brand quite a few times. Anyway, she obviously had access to labs, but also an incredible team behind her already. So weeks went by and she got back in touch with me to let me know that she'd actually presented what this amazing brow product was to her team and the labs, and they thought they could create it. So me, so naive, I was like, yeah, let's do it, absolutely, why not, I really want this product, Jenna really wants it, it'll be amazing if we can create it. So that in total, I had no idea, it took us around 2 years to develop this one product.
Yeah.
And we went through hundreds and hundreds of samples, and yeah, it was a real labour of love. And sometimes I really did think, are we even going to get to the final sample with this? It was so hard going back and forth constantly, getting the consistency right and the componentry right. And obviously, as a startup brand, this was quite costly as well. So it was quite a big risk in the very beginning.
Scary,
It is. And I remember once we did finally get to that final sample, obviously we'd spent a lot of money in terms of getting to that point. And then we had to place the minimum order quantity because we'd created our own component, our own formula. So that's quite costly in itself. And I remember Jenna telling me how much it was going to cost for us to do this. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, like this is such a big risk. I remember speaking to like our dads on how we were going to make it work and what the worst case scenario was, how we were going to sell it, sort of thing. Anyway, we bought 6 months worth of cover. Well, that's what we forecasted. And then we launched the brand in November 2020 and we sold out within 6 weeks, which
insane.
Was wild. But then we had the problem of being out of stock.
Catching up, yeah.
No, we were out of stock then for like 3 months, so we lost out on so much.
And then you're worried about losing the customer to something else, and you're worried that other brands are going to copy in the meantime and get it out there quicker.
You've got to be so quick. So that's kind of how we started, which was such an unbelievable start to see that the desire for the product and the want for the product was really there.
Yeah.
But then it was, as you said, just trying to maintain that level and stay on top of things. And
how many followers did you have pre-launch?
So when we first started developing this product, it was before the pandemic. So it would have been, I think we had the first conversations in end of 2017 into 2018.
Yeah.
And started from there. And then we launched in 2020. So it was a long time. We were actually due to launch in just before the lockdown, which was, I reckon it was into the start of the lockdown. So it was around May of 2020. And obviously the world was a crazy place at that time. So we just didn't know what we wanted to do.
But it was kind of perfect though, because I do remember through lockdown, people were starting to experiment with their own brows.
Definitely.
So I remember I was like, I at one point tried to tint my own lashes. I was like...
I've done that too. Even to this day, I'm literally like, I
know. But I think people were experimenting, weren't they, with home beauty treatments or makeup, and there was this kind of like fluffy brow movement at the time. Again, started by you, but then it was like, and here's your product.
Absolutely, and that was exactly the thing. People still had income coming in to be able to spend on things like makeup, and people had the time
they weren't
to
going
experiment.
out.
Exactly.
So they had more money to spend on. I also think people, especially creators or influencers or people just kind of interested in Instagram and things, they were doing home shoots. Do you remember?
Absolutely, I was.
Yeah.
I loved that. That was one of the funnest things about lockdown. I was at home with my mum, and my mum used to shoot all my content. And we literally just shot every single day. It kept us busy. It was so much fun.
People became so creative. You had to, I think the less like resources you have, it really forces you to just think outside the box.
Definitely.
Become creative. And it was such a special time for that when you look back.
No, definitely. It was a much simpler time. It was really good.
Yeah.
But then I also think what really helped us as a brand, as you said, all those factors, but people were spending a lot more time on their phones, and with us being like a social brand, we were obviously showing this product, how it works through video on Instagram. People were really engaging with it. People were super interested. And then obviously there was that thing of wearing a face mask, so you kind of only really see eyes and brows up. So people were spending a lot of time focusing on their brows and eyes. So yeah, it was, in hindsight, not a great time for the world, but a great time for our brand.
To launch that specific product. And one thing I think it's so cool about REFY is you launched one product, and that was your brand.
And to this day, it's still our best-selling product.
Is it?
Yes, which is wild. I know. I think one of the biggest things behind and the missions that we have here at REFY is all about innovating, not imitating, just constantly trying to stay ahead and bring as much innovation into our products and fix as many problems in your makeup routine as we possibly can. And I think that's one thing that does set us apart, because we're not an overwhelming amount of products. We're just very simple, and it does something different.
I really feel that with REFY. I feel like what you've done that's so clever, and I think you and Jenna, and I've met Jenna, she's just amazing, and you can just tell she's just so incredibly smart and on it, and you two together are just such a force. But I think what you've done that's so unique and difficult to do, that again, like most huge beauty brands with millions of pounds of backing, financial backing, haven't been able to do, is I can walk out on the street and I can pick out a REFY girly. I can see if someone has used the brow sculpt. And I told you this the other day, but I was in Denmark and this waitress came over, and she just was this gorgeous mini Jess, and she had these fluffy brows, and I just knew she was wearing REFY. And I said to her, wow, I love your brows. And she said, oh, it's REFY. And then she freaked out when I told her that you were my friend. But I think it's so, I mean, just that in itself is such an achievement. How can you notice a makeup, like makeup looks so different on anyone. The fact that you've created and been so innovative with your product is just amazing and so inspiring. I really feel that. And also I think you as a person are like that. You're not imitating, and I think that's also a good message. The imitation thing with social media, it's so powerful and it's such a useful tool. But I don't know if you find this, if I'm too much in social media, it turns off my creative side of my brain.
I'm the exact same. I say it all the time.
It's crazy.
It does. I think as well, it's a natural human thing to compare, because you always want to be, in terms of like the human brain and the human form, you always want to be in like a good place, in a successful place, and doing well for like you as a human. So when you're seeing other people doing other things, it influences you in a way of, should I be doing that? Or what do I think about that? Or that's a good idea. And I do love social media for connections and also for inspiration. I do think it's so important that we do take inspiration from different things. However, there's a fine line between just copying and being inspired. And
you guys have always stayed true to that and been very unique, and I think and also you can take inspiration from different industries.
Definitely.
Like REFY, I see you guys doing loads with the fashion kind of side of things and doing such cool things there and taking inspiration from fashion rather than other beauty brands. So I think there's a way, I mean, we all take inspiration, definitely, but there's a way to do it in a way that you're still staying creative and it's sparking that creative side of your brain.
Yeah, massively.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's just so exciting watching what's going on. But like you say, going back to the comparison thing, I always say comparison is the thief of joy.
Massively.
And what would you, because I feel like you're such a calm girl, like I love that about you. Your aura's very calm, you're very together. What would you say has helped you become that person?
It has taken a lot of work. I'm going to be so honest. I think I'm the type of person that always wants, what's the right words? I don't want to say the word perfectionist, but a little bit. Just in terms of everything I do, I like it to be at the best level it can be. I really enjoy, doing my best, essentially. I think a lot of people do. But I think, and we briefly spoke about this before we started the podcast, but I think one thing that I've really realised, and maybe it's since having the brand, obviously in the beginning of launching a brand, it requires so much of your time and it is your passion, so it is a huge part of you. But I think, I can't even remember when it sort of clicked for me, but something made me realise, I believe that you can never really be 50-50 in terms of life and work. I think it's all about seeing what needs your attention more. So for example, right now we're launching something on Friday, we're launching something the week after, and it's a really busy time for me and REFY as a brand. So I would say in terms of personal life to work life, I'm probably like 80% REFY, 85% REFY, like 15% me and what I enjoy doing. And I think it is about when you do have those quiet times. For example, a couple of weeks later, I'm going to go away and spend time with my family. Like that needs to be on the heavier side for Jess time and spending time with my family. So I think it is really just about putting things into perspective and try not to overwhelm yourself, because there's obviously like the to-do list never stops. It's always going to be a constant. So it's just really about thinking how you can best use your time.
Manage your time.
Definitely. And just not getting caught up in the whirlwind of the crazy industry that we are in, because it is so fast paced, and it's important that you just take a step back and try and remember what is important.
And what was before all of this.
Definitely, yeah.
And it's such a good point. And I think because what we do is what we love, we get so much satisfaction out of that and out of seeing the business build and meeting with the customers and subscribers or whatever, and seeing that kind of that feedback and really feeling like the heart and soul of the business. But at the same time, you can also lose yourself a little bit on the way and get obsessed by that. So I think you're really good at being consistent with those small pockets of time that you do have. Like you're always consistent doing your workouts in the morning and going on our walks and having time for you. But I think seeing life in seasons and phases is helpful as well.
Definitely. And I think it's also about being realistic too. Like, as I said, now's a busy time for me. So I make sure, for example, what is important to me in my day, for me, as we've spoke before, it's that morning routine. That always sets me up to be like the best version of myself for that day, to get the best from me that day. So it's about thinking, okay, what's realistic for me this morning? Some days it might be like a 3-hour long morning routine where I really just take my time, do what I want to do. But for example, today it was probably an hour. So it's like, right, what can I do for myself in that time period to make sure I feel good, and just not setting
overwhelming.
Definitely.
And setting unrealistic targets.
Exactly.
Do you decide the night before?
I usually...
Do you almost like plan out your morning the night before?
Yeah, kind of. I kind of look at my week as a whole at the end of a week and look forward to the next week and think, okay, what is going on each day? And then I actually do write down that time. So I time block my day, and I think, so for example, today, obviously I'm meeting you this morning, and I knew that I had to shoot some content before I came here. So I blocked out what time I'd be here with you, blocked out how long it would take me to shoot content, then obviously what time I needed to wake up, and then the space in between of that time that I could just have for myself, do a workout, have a matcha, do some journaling, take a minute for myself. And that is just kind of how I do
time.
Yeah,
it's so important. And your diary and travel and everything is just crazy. Do you have any tips with time management?
I think, as I just touched on, a really amazing one for me is kind of taking a minute either at the start of your week or at the end of the week you've just done to look forward and kind of, I know you need to live in the moment, but I feel like sometimes you can live better in the moment for being really prepared.
Organised. I completely agree. I love to do it on a Sunday.
Yes, I love that.
Plan my week ahead. Put my free time in.
Oh no, I do this.
Then it makes me like, it sounds a bit psychotic, but I'm almost like, okay, I've allowed this time.
No,
I've scheduled
absolutely.
it, and then I'm a
as
bit
long
more
as everything
relaxed.
else is done, because you won't be able to just sit and chill knowing that you have the longest to-do list that you've not even looked at today. It's almost like, for example, today, one thing for me that I'm loving doing right now is going to the sauna, and that doesn't take long. Like that takes me like half an hour. So it's like, right, okay, what time do I need to finish working today and do all the approvals and different things for me to be able to do my half an hour at the end of the day and be back for whatever I need to be back for. So just even like you just said, planning in things for you throughout the day, it also is going to make your day more enjoyable. Obviously, we're very fortunate to have amazing jobs and enjoy what we do, but it's also like
those little rewards throughout the day.
And when it is definitely, and when it is like a bit heavy or a bit full on, as I said, approvals for me today, so maybe I need a little break in between, because I normally find if I have a little break I come back fresher and ready to go again. So
I completely agree.
I do that. Try and time block. It sounds a bit crazy, but block everything.
And actually, almost every person that I've spoken to that's hugely successful, they like live in their calendars and are so like micromanagey with their self and their time. And I think actually it's a good life hack. So you are obviously so together, and or at least I feel that way. But how, I mean, it's so important to kind of touch on the challenges as well and the difficult times. It's not all easy breezy. So can you kind of take me to like moments where you've had a challenge or a setback which you've kind of had to deal with or turned around? What have been the biggest like personal challenges and also business challenges?
There's honestly so many, like even as you were asking that question, so many sprung to mind, but that is just life. It happens all the time. I think one consistent thing has been just trying to keep up with REFY. Like that is something that
speed and the growth.
The speed and the growth of the brand. It's incredible how quickly things have happened and the size of the brand now. But I was saying the other day, I just feel like I'm catching up to it now, but I just constantly feel like I'm running alongside it. And as long as the brand's been going, it's nearly over 3.5 years, my roles have changed constantly, even changed day to day. I'm now like officially the creative director and founder of REFY, but in the very beginning I was the social media, the customer service, I was packing orders, packing PR. So you obviously carry so many hats. So I think it's been such an amazing thing as well, having all of these experiences. But yeah, it's just a lot trying to keep up with an ever-growing brand. So that's been...
How have you kept up with it?
I think it is about, well, for me personally, I'm in a very fortunate position where we've been able to grow our team. You'll probably know this, without a team, nothing happens.
But also without a good, productive team, it's so hard to find that kind of shared vision with someone, and it is your baby, and you almost want to hire a load of other co-founders. You know what I mean? That it means the same to them as it means to you.
Absolutely. I think, I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but the kind of approach that I take to hiring is, obviously I love to see experience. I love to see what you've done previously, your qualifications. But for me, it's all about whether our values are the same, whether like we click, whether you get the REFY vision. I think REFY as a brand is quite clear on the aesthetic and the vibe and what we're trying to do. But if someone can really understand that and bring even more value to the brand, those are huge things for me. But I also feel that one thing that has really helped me on this crazy journey, as I said, has been hiring, but just hiring people that are better than you. So even to this day, we're still, I want people even better than me at knowing what we should be doing in terms of the creative side of things. And I just think I've been learning ever since the beginning of this, and I still want to learn, because that is the only way that we're going to get better. So that's one piece of advice, is just keep having hire better than you, have conversations, ask questions. Even other founders, just reach out to them and try and speak to them. I just think you can get, the more knowledge you get, definitely. Like the more knowledge you have, the more success you'll have. And
you're so right, actually. And I think reaching out to other founders, because quite often they've been through the same struggles, but they've made the mistake for you. So they'll be like, oh my God, don't do this, whatever you do, or don't work with this person, or choose this person, or whatever. They'll help you out, and it kind of just minimizes your risk. So I think ask for help more is such a good. And even like, I mean, people that you message on Instagram, like random people that you never thought would even respond to you, that have like huge businesses, people want to help because they've been in your shoes. So I think that's a good tip. And also, if you're inspired by someone, message them as well.
Definitely. As we said before, I think that's one of the great things about social media. It really can connect you, as you said, to the person that inspires you most. It's such a brilliant tool, and we just need to use it for all the good things.
One thing I think REFY does, another thing that I think REFY does really well is the community aspect. And I don't think a lot of beauty brands are doing it. I think it's more of connected to like a wellness brand, if that makes sense. But I think you're really bridging the gap in that space. And I love that, because the makeup is very natural. It's about enhancing your own features and just making everyone feel like themselves, but a more confident, beautiful version of that.
Definitely.
And I really think that really filters down into the community side of things that you do. So can you tell me about the REFY community?
Absolutely. And at REFY, well, one of our values is community first. And truly, I'm sure you'll know this, but without your community, the brand wouldn't have a reason. It would have no purpose. And I even say it now, I am obviously, I love the influencer industry. I am a product of it. I think it's brilliant. But us as a brand, we are probably most influenced by our community.
Yeah, your community are your biggest influencers.
They are. And I know it myself. For example, if you come to me and you say, you may not be posting it on social, but you might say, I've just tried this amazing thing, you need it. Of course I'm going to buy it. Then I'm going to tell my friend, I'm going to tell whoever. So that is where the influence really lies. And we even had it the other day. This amazing girl went on TikTok, and it was literally the quickest video. She didn't even say a word. She had music on. She didn't even show REFY the product, but she just did her mascara using the REFY lash sculpt. And the lashes spoke for themselves. And this video, I think it's up to like 40 million views. It's gone completely viral. And she was just a normal girl in the US with 200 followers. And now it's just blown up.
Oh my God, I need to see this video.
I'll show you in a sec. It's insane. So that just goes to show the power of a real person who loves the product, sharing it. So that is a huge thing for me. But also every single launch, I'm constantly asking for feedback. Even with our REFY email database, we always email out to get feedback and just sort of say, for example, if someone comes to me in the office, like, what do you think we should do about this launch? Do you think it should be like this color or this color? We just say, email the community, like see what they think, because I like them both, but what is everyone else wanting? And that is what is so powerful, being able to communicate with them and just find out exactly what they're wanting, exactly what they're needing from us as a brand. And that is so powerful in itself. But one thing that we're super passionate on this year is just doing way more in real life. I feel like people are so much more excited, isn't it? It's just having that real human connection in person. It's so much more exciting, so much more powerful. So that's a big focus for us this year. And we've done some really amazing events and campaigns where our community has been fully involved. Like our concealer campaign, we shot over 1,000 customers, which we're so proud of, and they were the campaign, which
I loved that. It was incredible.
It was so good. it just made me feel so fulfilled, so happy, and just so empowered. And I think that's what I want to do more of. We've got something launching very soon, or maybe it would have launched by the time this goes out. And it's just a really amazing experience for the community to be fully immersed in what we're calling the REFY world. So
it is a REFY world.
It is, and it's just
and
the start.
We just all live in it. But seriously, now I'm looking at your mascara, I'm like, right, this whole time before you even spoke about the mascara, I'm like, I need to buy that.
I can't believe you haven't got it.
I know.
Okay, I'll give it to you tomorrow.
Okay, love you. We're going away together tomorrow, and I thought to myself, oh, I'm going to literally just sit there and watch Jess do her makeup.
Oh my God, we should do a get ready.
Yeah, we should.
Let's get ready together. Oh my God, we could do each other's makeup.
Oh my God, I'd be scared to do.
No, you can't. With REFY products, you can't do it wrong.
Okay, fine.
Let's do it.
Challenge accepted. So excited about that. Yeah, so the community is just super cool. Everything you do there is amazing. And I think what you're doing is you're just keeping this momentum going. And how do you come up with your product launches? So you're asking the customer. So rather than actually, I think as founders, like we can often be like ego driven. And sometimes like asking the customer, it's like actually you're creating a product for a solution. You're creating a solution rather than inventing a problem that was never there.
Absolutely.
So by asking your customer what product you're doing and what you should do, it's kind of just you're creating for them.
Absolutely.
So you know it's going to be a success. Are there any other things that you kind of talk me through? I'm always like fascinated by product launches and the drops and like the activation around it, more the business side of things. So like what goes on behind the scenes behind one product launch?
From the start?
Yeah.
Okay. So all of our product launches actually take us a really long time just because we do always create all the formula, the component from scratch. So there's options where you can fast track by doing like white labeling or working on a formula that a lab may already have.
Yeah.
But we just choose to start from the beginning to ensure as much innovation in every element as possible, including formula and the component. So I would say a product takes us around, the quickest turnaround we've ever had is around a year, and the longest has taken us 3 years.
Okay.
So it takes us a long time. So we come up with a concept, and then we start working into what that looks like, how it would work, and we're very often just in the office, just even at the craft shop, just like buying bits and bobs and like sticking it together to try and explain to our lab exactly what we're trying to create here, because usually we're trying to do something that hasn't been done before. So that is quite fun in itself. And then we, of course, send it over to the lab and we kind of give them a bit of a brief of what it needs to do, what it needs to look like, and try and give them any examples of products that are already out there on the market that kind of do it, or how we can change it in certain ways. For example, I may have a product, well, with our concealer, for example, I had an eye cream that I absolutely loved and it was super brightening.
Yeah.
But then that
so
was
you wanted to bring that element to the, okay.
It was one step in my routine, and then I had one concealer that I would wear if I had like a bit of a breakout because it's slightly thicker, and then I had an eye brightener which I'd just like to wear on like no makeup days to almost like brighten and make me look that bit fresher, but also still have a tiny bit of coverage. So we had these 3 products. That's 3 steps essentially in your routine. So I was like, how do we combine this into one? So that's like a starting point for a product there. And
you also did that with the brow.
Yes, exactly. And then it's almost fixing the problems that you may find in your makeup routine and just simplifying your routine.
Having that one product rather than
Definitely. So that's where we start. And then obviously we brief the factory, and as soon as they can, they'll send us back a sample to try it, or we'll go over and sample with them. And that in itself is so exciting because that's when you sort of see the product starting to come to life and seeing how it would work. And then obviously if we're really close to it, it's great because it won't take us too long to get that finalised. It should take around a year, but sometimes there's a lot of back and forth, especially on formula. And then, for example, with the concealer, that was a long development just based on the fact, obviously there's so many skin tones, skin types.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And that is where the customer actually had a huge part to play in that, because we have this really amazing database of customers that we always reach out to help us with product testing, and they're all over the world as well, so it's brilliant. So we kind of go from different territories, send them out a sample,
That is amazing.
It's so good. And then they can give us feedback on what they would like, what they wouldn't like, shades, etc. And that is such a powerful way to get us to a good starting point to then feedback again. We also love doing loads of focus groups. As I said, with concealer, I obviously can't test every single shade. No. It just does not make sense. So we had hundreds of people coming into the office and doing focus groups over in the US also, and worldwide actually, to try and narrow down these shades for our concealer. We eventually got down to 24, and that's what we chose to launch with. So obviously we then brief in the factory to start filling our components with the confirmed shades. So then the production time takes a few months for that actually to be completed, because usually our packaging and componentry is done in a separate lab, and then the fill is done in the lab with the formula. So that's like a whole nother.
Don't you find that it's just crazy to think all the time and all the steps there are?
I know.
I bet when you first did this, you never
I had no clue. I remember Jenna being like, let's do this product. And I was like, yeah, should I just put in a date in my diary? When are we going to do the launch party?
Month?
Yeah, that was it. Like, when should we do the party? Funny. I was like, when can we do the shoot? I just had no clue about the logistics.
It takes so long. And then when you finally have that finished product and you're ready, you have your launch date. Because I think you're really good with teasing it as well. So what is your game plan with that? So you have the product, you're ready to launch. And then do you always do like a teaser a week before? How does it work? Do you do an email?
Yeah, so we love to do a creative shoot before we launch. We love to obviously do a lot of tutorials to show how the product works. We love to do some web to make sure we translate how the product shows up, etc. We will kind of do this all ahead of launch. An insane creative campaign to really set the tone and the vibe of what this product is. As I said, applications. And then we review all of the content and we kind of pinpoint like what is a bit of a tease kind of shot. For example, we might just be like a little bit of a fluff of the brush with the concealer, like, oh my gosh, what was that sort of thing. So it's like we almost pinpoint where we would put each piece of content. And then, as you said, we always email out to our email database and sort of say, something's coming, we want you guys to be the first to know. Like, if you do want to be the first to know, like, here's all the information. And that is actually a really strong tool for us just to create that awareness for a new product. And then we are a really social native brand, like heavily social. And that's kind of where we've always been. So we always, as I said, we like to start with a teaser. And this actually varies from launch to launch. Yeah. We previously used to say not a lot and then just launch. But now I find, because our products do have a lot of education behind them, we kind of like to filter in that education before we launch. Because otherwise you see a product and you've got no idea how it works, but you think you need to order it and then you don't know how to use it, so you probably don't like it. So it really is about like setting the tone, setting what the product is, and the education before we launch. That's the approach we've been taking lately, and it seems to be doing quite well.
And then also the buyer is then committed, or they've already committed to the purchase on the day of launch.
Yeah, exactly.
They've already considered it.
They've already got the information. They already think, because they might look at it and be like, this is not a product for me.
Yeah, it's respecting your customers. They're intelligent, they know what they want. So you're kind of giving them the education behind it and the almost like the building blocks of what it's taken to bring it out.
Exactly, and we're almost showing to them, this is who it's for. You might need it, and if it's not for you, that's absolutely fine also. I think, as you said, people want education before they purchase. Anyway, then it comes to launch day. Obviously, everything goes live online. We do like a big launch on social. We get all the education out there through TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. And then we also go into retail, usually the same day or a couple of days later, and that's with Sephora and Selfridges. And
so you go in yourself, don't you, and do like a bit of a buzz around each?
Definitely. And it's always such a powerful thing, because I think it's great being a social brand, but I know myself, you kind of want to see things and feel things in real life and see.
You have more of a connection to it, don't you?
Definitely. So that's a huge part of all of our launches too. So yeah, just partnering with those retailers and just making it a big moment is so special.
I think it's really important to think about, like, as any brand, the pre and the post. Like, it's not just about launch day. It's about the build up, the day of the launch, of course, and then that follow up.
Absolutely.
The follow up, I actually think, is the biggest part.
I agree.
Which I've learned. Like,
no, I agree.
You know, even this is a podcast, but actually there's a follow-up after this. It's
I
not
know.
just like, okay, thank you. It will be like, here's the newsletter from Jess, or here's this, or here's this little clip that leads everyone back. I think the follow-up is a really important thing to remember in all brands and businesses, whether you're selling clothing or beauty. So can you, I'm just conscious of time.
No, all good.
I want to ask you all the wellness and beauty and everything. So let's do a quick fire round to finish. I always make this up on the spot.
Oh gosh, here we go.
It's just so me, isn't it? Not
yeah, of course it is. No, it's fine. Let's keep going.
Okay, so top 3 wellness tips.
Top 3 wellness tips would be get enough sleep.
Yeah.
Move your body every day, even if it is for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And electrolytes.
Ooh, which ones do you like?
I love the Humantra ones.
Oh, same.
Yeah, they're really good.
Which flavour?
I like lime. Have you tried
Same.
lychee?
The lychee's good.
It's nice.
But lime, when I was younger, used to love, when you'd go to the pub when you were younger and you'd think you were really cool.
Yeah.
I'd always get lime cordial.
Yes, exactly.
Thinking I was like having a beer with the lads.
Yeah.
Drinking my lime cordial. And it reminds me of that. It takes me back. Yeah.
No, it's so yummy.
Okay, that's a good tip. And favourite workouts?
Favourite workouts would have to be Pilates. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm not just saying this because I'm here, but I literally use Bryony's Pilates. Oh my God, I've used it for nearly 2 years. That's insane.
That is crazy.
Isn't that wild?
Have I even known you 2 years? You were using it before we met.
I met you, yeah.
Aww,
isn't that wild?
That's the best.
I love it. It's just so great for me every single day. As you know, my day changes constantly. Like no day is the same, so it means I can fit it in somewhere. But it's even like my mum does it because she's over in, well, she travels quite a bit, but she can do it when she's away. It's just such a great one for wherever you are.
Thank you.
Oh my God, of course. Another one would probably be walking. I literally walk everywhere. I love walking.
Yeah.
And I think people underestimate how good that actually is for you.
For your mental health as well.
Oh my God, absolutely. What else do I like doing? I've recently started running. But I know, but I'm no good. I can literally do about 4K. But
that's
just
good.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where I just want to look after my heart health a little bit. So that's why I'm doing that.
Get the cardio. I love that. Amazing. If you could only choose 3 beauty products, what would they be?
Okay, it's a hard one.
Skincare and makeup.
Okay. Can I say all REFY or is that not allowed?
Yes,
okay.
please say REFY because I'm going to make sure I own each item.
I'm sure you probably do. So for me, one non-negotiable every single day is the REFY face primer because because even if my skin's looking a little bit dull or even if I'm not putting on makeup, it just gives that instant glow and just makes me look super well and alive.
Can I just give you a tip on that?
Go on.
That reminds me of Aria, my niece.
You
go, girl.
You go, girl.
If you keep it in the fridge, it's like a built-in ice roller.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. I love that. That's
because the rolly thing is so... I love a morning ice roll, and that is a good little...
Yeah, that sounds really gorgeous.
Sorry.
Deep puff.
Teaching
I love
what's it called?
that.
Teaching your grandma how to suck eggs.
Oh
okay, so the primer.
Yes, the primer. Another one would be our brow tint. I don't know if you've tried that.
I've got it on right now.
Same. I love it. I remember when the team showed me the formula and the componentry, I was a brow sculpt girl till I die, and I still love it. I still wear it quite a lot. But I remember being like, I don't need this. I've got the brow sculpt.
Yeah.
Like, I love that you come up with this, but I don't know if we need it. And I've literally eaten my words. Yeah. I love it because my hair's so fair naturally. All I need to do is just pop some of the products in and it just gets every single hair. It's that high definition finish. Yeah. It's honestly magic. It's amazing.
It's really good.
It's so good. And then last but not least has to be the REFY lip gloss. Like there's not a day.
Which shade?
I'm going to say clear because even on no makeup days, I will just put that on to hydrate my lips and it just gives such a gorgeous glossy finish. Yes. So all of those products are products that I would wear with a full face or just on no makeup days.
Yeah, so they're versatile. I like it. And favourite book?
Favourite book? I'm one of those people that needs to read a book that will make me like fully engrossed, fully switch off. I love Shari LaPenna. She does the most amazing... So this is not health and wellness.
No, that's fine.
She does like thriller books, which sounds a bit wild, but it fully makes me switch off. I love a thriller book. Yeah, she's incredible. I have to give you some. But she fully makes me switch off. I'm just immersed in the book. It's really good for me.
Great. Which is your favourite one from her? Do you remember? I'm so bad with remembering book names.
I can't remember book names, but I want to say... I can't remember. I think there was one called The Couple Next Door.
I was just about to say, did she write The Couple Next Door? Because that was the one thriller book that really sticks in my mind. That was good.
Yeah, really good. I think I might.
And I'm not even like, I'm more of a factual like business, but actually that book was really good. I couldn't put it down.
Yeah, that's the kind of books I like. Ones
good
I can't
one.
put down. Yeah.
Favorite podcast?
Obviously this one. No. When it comes out, this
isn't out yet, so technically you can't include that.
I actually do really like Fern Cotton's podcast.
Ooh,
I really like
she's
Fern's
amazing,
Happy
isn't
Place.
she?
Yeah, I feel like every time I listen to it, it's just good vibes, good energy. I like to listen to it when I'm going for a walk, and as we said, it's just a great way to like de-stress, and I just feel like she's full of good vibes.
Did she have a favorite guest on that you liked?
I'm trying to think. I love the Michelle Keegan one.
I was just thinking
that one was a really good one.
I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I saw like some TikToks about her.
It was really good.
It
I feel like
really
maybe because that one
good
resonated
vibes.
most with me. I was like, oh yeah, I needed to hear that today.
Yeah,
really
I liked.
good.
She said something about living quite a private life.
Yeah,
I liked that part.
Yeah.
Okay, and one piece of advice you would give your younger self, knowing everything you know now.
I think this is going to sound a bit of a cop-out, but just you can't plan everything and just go with it. Like everything is going to be okay. Everything happens for a reason. You just need to trust and go with it. I think I was always so caught up in obviously having goals and things I wanted to do, but just really being
trusting the
too
process
much with wanting to make it happen when things just sometimes do happen quite naturally, and exactly that, trust the process.
Well, I mean, you've had quite a good process.
It's been kind to me.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun. Can you come back?
Oh my God, please. Thank you so much for having me. You're amazing.
Love you.
Love you.